My dear students, this is the last interactive video session of your second term syllabus, and after uploading this video, the next interactive video session will be conducted subject wise and the topic wise on day-to-day basis. Today I have been present here to discuss the second term syllabus of your subject Science and Environment of your reference book. There are 4 chapters in your Science and Environment reference book we have to read for our second term syllabus, and the chapters are chapter number 5 Measurement, chapter number 6 Primary Concept of Force and Energy, chapter number 7 Statics and Dynamics of Fluid, mainly the liquid and the gases. Chapter number 8, and this is the last chapter of your second term syllabus, the human body. So this is the outline of your second term syllabus of the subject Science and Environment reference book. Now I am heading in detailed discussion of these 4 chapters, topic and subtopic wise, in a very brief manner, so that you can get a good idea regarding what to read and what to not, and how to read. So let's begin with the chapter number 5, the measurement. The topics we need to cover is, first topic is measurement. Here we have to know just the meaning of measurement. So what is measurement? We will know. Thereafter, we have to understand what are the necessities of measurement in our daily life. The second topic of this chapter is physical quantities. First, we have to know the term physical quantity. What is the meaning of physical quantity? Thereafter, there are how many types of physical quantities. Broadly, we can divide all physical quantities into 2 groups, such as number 1, fundamental physical quantities, and the derived physical quantities. So here we have to understand first what are the fundamental physical quantities with example, and what are the derived physical quantities with example. Thereafter, we need to understand the basic differences between fundamental and the derived physical quantities. Then units of physical quantities. So there are lots of physical quantities, and each physical quantity will have definite unit. So we will learn here physical quantities as well as the unit of different physical quantities. This point is very important, and that is International Standard Meter. This is the newer concept in this measurement chapter. Just we need to go through regarding the International Standard Meter. What is it? How the concept has been come, and such things also. The third topic of this measurement chapter is measurement of different physical quantities and their useful devices. I hope after learning the measurement we have to once again learn different physical quantities, how can we measure, and what are the useful devices, so that using these useful devices we can easily measure different physical quantities. So what are these different physical quantities, such as mass, area, volume, time, the measurement of plant and animal growth, etc. So first we have to measure the mass, and in order to measure the mass, which kind of device is used. For example, in order to measure the mass of any physical quantity, we need to take the help of the device that is called the common balance. Whereas in order to measure the weight, we must have to take the help of the device spring balance. Similarly, measurement of area, measurement of volume, measurement of time, and measurement of plant and animal growth. So not only the physical quantities of different matter can be measured, but also the plant and the animal growth, both can be measured by using the devices. Now the last topic of this chapter is the concept of estimation in measurement. So in this case we will learn what does the word estimation mean first, and why there is the necessity of using estimation in measurement. So in this topic we will learn the necessities of estimation in measurement and what is the estimation. So these are the topics of the chapter number 5, measurement. Now I'm going to the next chapter, the chapter number 6, primary concept of force and energy. So in this chapter we will learn force and the energy. So before going to discuss regarding the force and energy, let me say something regarding those terms which are related to this chapter, such as rest and motion. So first we need to clear or to have a good concept of rest and motion. So what is motion and what is rest, and what is the basic differences between rest and motion, we have to understand first. For example, stationary objects. So what are the stationary objects with example, and what are the moving objects with example, and the difference between them. So after knowing this rest and motion concept, now we have to understand the different concepts of the force, such as general understanding about force. So what is the general understanding or our own understanding about force? We need to clear here with providing real example. Thereafter, definition. So what is the definition or what is the meaning of force? Then its unit. There are 3 different types of units of force in 3 systems, like CGS, MKS, FPS. So in these 3 systems there are 3 different types of units of force we have to learn. Then effect of force. So what is the effect of force? We will learn. Then force without touch. So This topic will deal with those forces having no touch. That means to without applying any force or without applying any effort, there are many examples of forces, such as a good example is magnet. So the example of magnet is force without touch. Another important example that we need to read is gravitational force. So gravitational force is the real example of force without touch. So here we will learn what is gravitational force. Similarly, frictional force in our daily life. Like gravitational force, there is also a force named frictional force. So what is the importance of frictional force in our daily life? In this case, we need to understand first what is the friction with real example. Thereafter we will learn regarding the frictional force in detail. So after completion of the concept of force, we will move or read regarding the energy. So what are the topics regarding energy? First topic is general understanding about energy with real example, like the force one. So we need to provide the real example in order to enhance our critical understanding about the energy with providing the real example that we are facing on day-to-day basis. Then providing a good definition of energy. There is the classification of energy and broadly into two groups, like potential energy and the kinetic energy. So what is potential energy? We need to give example. And what is the kinetic energy? We need to give example and the difference between them. Then there is the topic very important. This one is the mechanical energy. So mechanical energy means potential energy plus the kinetic energy. So if we add potential energy and the kinetic energy, then we can get easily the mechanical energy, or both energy will be called the mechanical energy. So regarding the mechanical energy, we need to read first different forms of mechanical energy. We will get different forms of energy in our books. Thereafter, the transformation of energy. This one is very important. Transformation of energy means we can easily convert any energy to another kind of energy. For example, the solar energy into the chemical energy and such as. Then the source of energy. So what are the sources of energy? That means from where we can get the different types of energy. We will learn under this subtopic. Then the concept of energy flow. This is very important. Energy flow. So first we need to regarding the energy flow, first we need to read the meaning of energy flow and the energy crisis. So what is the meaning of energy flow and what is the meaning of energy crisis? Then consumers of energy. There are two types of consumers mainly, such as primary consumers and the secondary consumers. We need to give the examples also. Then food chain and the food web. So what is a food chain? What is a food web? Food pyramid and the tropical level. So what is the food pyramid? and what is the tropical or tropic level. And the very important topic regarding this chapter is the Raymond Lindman's law of 10%. So under the incident of energy flow, there is a law, and it is known as the Lindman law of 10%. So this is very important. This law intends to define a universal truth thing regarding the energy flow among different consumers. That means the consumption of energy or the utilization of energy will be transformed from one tropic level to another tropic level in form of 10%. So in this topic we will read regarding the energy flow, and the last topic of this chapter is the chemical energy of food. So what is the meaning of the chemical energy of food, we will learn. So these are the topics of the chapter number 6, primary concept of force and energy. Now I am moving to the chapter number 7, the statics and the dynamics of fluid, liquid and gas. So the first topic is the pressure. So general understanding of pressure, we have to read the definition of pressure, its unit or the measurement of the pressure. That means how can we measure or what are the units of the pressure, such as the Pascal. Then the effect of the pressure. Under this topic we need to do an experiment of effects of pressure to prove two things. Number one, pressure of liquid increases with the increase of depth. So if the depth is increased, then the pressure of liquid will be automatically increased. So this can be proved through an experiment. So we will learn regarding this experiment to prove this statement. The second statement is a gas or liquid flows from a place with a higher pressure to a place with lesser pressure or the lower pressure. So this is the second one, and to prove this statement we can also take an experiment. So these two experiments are very important in order to understand the characteristics of a pressure. Atmospheric pressure, this one is very important. Here we will learn what is atmospheric pressure, and there is also an experiment to prove the atmospheric pressure, and it is known as the Otto Vaughan's experiment. So we will learn regarding Otto Vaughan's experiment in order to prove or in order to know what is atmospheric pressure. There is also the concept of Bernoulli's principle. So this is also very important. Here we will learn what is Bernoulli's principle and the relation of pressure and speed. So Bernoulli's principle is basically based on the relation of pressure and the speed. That means the pressure and the speed here is inversely proportional. In order to make this clear, make this concept clear, I am giving the example such as if the pressure is high, the speed will be less, or if there is the less pressure, the speed will be more. So such kind of relationship will be built up through Bernoulli's principle. Now we need to do an experiment to prove the Bernoulli's principle. So there are two important experiment regarding the pressure, and first one is the Otto Wan's experiment in order to prove the atmospheric pressure, and another one is the Bernoulli's principle in order to establish the relationship between the pressure and the speed. So please remember these two experiments, Otto Wan's experiments and the Bernoulli's principle. These two are very important regarding the pressure. So these are the topics of the chapter number 7. Now I'm going to the chapter number 8, and this chapter is the last chapter of your second term syllabus. So the human body, this is the chapter is known as the general human physiology. This chapter is very important. So there are lots of things we need to know, such as blood, heart, lungs, bone and bone joints, muscle, the growth and the development of the human body. So one by one I will discuss in detail. So first I would like to discuss the topic regarding the blood. So first thing is, what is blood, we will learn. Then the characteristic or properties of blood, components of blood. Blood can be consisted of two things broadly, like plasma and the blood cells or the blood corpuscles. Blood corpuscles further can be divided into three groups, such as WBC, RBC and the platelet, and so on. The next thing is functions of blood. So we will learn what are the functions of blood in our body. Here this term, the phagocytosis, is very important. So what is the phagocytosis, we will learn. Here is the new topic, that is the different discharge substance of human body and their reason. So in our body there are lots number of discharge substances, and we have to know regarding this. For example, mucous discharge, pus, eye discharge. So these are the discharges. Here just we will learn the name of this type of discharges and their reasons. Now I'm coming to the point is the heart. So regarding heart, the topics we need to discuss is, what is heart, first thing is. Then heart, what is heart sound, location of heart in our body, shape of heart. So these are the subtopics of general understanding or the concept of the heart. Now I'm coming to the second most important point of the heart, is that is the structure of a human heart. So regarding this topic we need to read, first thing is covering or the membrane of heart. So what is the covering or the membrane of heart, we will learn. Then wall of heart, then chambers of the hearts. There are how many chambers of the heart, we will learn. Then the valves of the heart and their functions as well, veins and arteries of heart. Then the functions of heart, blood circulation through human heart. If this is the very important thing of the heart, we have to know the circulation process of blood through the heart. So here this is the important question regarding heart, and that is, draw and label the internal structure of heart and describe the circulation of heart through it. Now we have to know just these following terms regarding heart, and that is what is heartbeat, such as love and dub, then pulse pressure, blood pressure, normal average blood pressure, cardiac circle. So what is cardiac circle? Then what is pulse rate? Regarding the pulse rate, this is very important thing, that this is the experiment with your own body. You can easily understand the pulse rate. That's why the point is here, and it is locate the different parts in the body where pulse can be felt. So in our body there are different sites, and feeling these sites we can easily understand our pulse rate. For example, brachial arteries. So we need to understand this one. Then pulse, there are the problems of heart and their symptoms, such as heart failure. What is heart failure, what are the symptoms of the heart failures, etc. We will learn regarding the heart problems. Now after learning the hearts, we have to learn regarding the lungs. So what are the topics regarding the lungs? First is what respiratory organ. So why we are calling or saying that lungs is a respiratory organ? Then human respiratory tract. So first we need to understand what is a respiratory tract and what is the composition of the human respiratory tract, and what are the different parts of the respiratory tract, such as nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, primary, secondary, and tertiary. So these are the parts of the respiratory tract. So after knowing the respiratory tract, we have to know regarding the respiratory organ, the lungs. So here we need to understand regarding the lungs in detail, such as what is pleura, what is alveoli, what is bronchioles, etc. Then associated structures of human respiratory system. So there are many structures of human respiratory system, such as diaphragm, the thoracic ribs, etc. So why diaphragm, thoracic ribs, etc. are called associated structures of the human respiratory systems, we will learn. Another important subtopic of the lungs is the mechanism of breathing. So first of all, we need to understand what is breathing. Breathing can be done in two forms, inspiration and the expiration, and why these two processes involved, why these two processes are involved in the breathing. We will learn problems of lungs and their symptoms. So there are two types of problems in your book, and that is asthma and the TB. So what is asthma, what are the characteristics of asthma or diagnosis process of asthma? Likewise, what is the TB, the diagnosis process of TB, and the treatment also. The next topic is the bone and the bone joints. So first regarding bone, first thing we should know that what is the meaning of a skeletal system, and we should also know these following terms, such as what is bone, what is cartilage, and what is ligament, because these three terms are fully associated with the skeletal system of human body. Thereafter, types of human bones. We know in an adult human skeletal system there are 206 bones, and these 206 bones can be grouped into two, such as axial skeletal system and the appendicular axial systems. Number of bones present in the axial skeletal system 80 bones, and the appendicular skeletal system is 126 bones. Further axial skeletal system can be subdivided into three groups such as skull bones, vertebral bones, and the thoracic cage bones. The number of the skull bones is 22, vertebral 33, thoracic cage bone 25, and the second group of the human bone is appendicular skeletal system, and it is consisted of two types of bones, and that is number one is the girdle bones, another one is the arms bones. So girdle bones can be further subdivided into two groups: pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle, and the arms bones into two subgroups: hand bones and the leg bones. So these are the different types of names of the bones of human skeletal systems. Here we will learn the names and the numbers of bones present in a human body. After knowing the name and the number of bones in a human body, we need to provide a neat and clean diagram of human skeletal system. This is very important. We should know how to draw the human skeletal system. Thereafter, different shapes of human bones. So there are many types of shapes of human bones we will learn, like flat bones, etc. Then the functions of the skeletal system. So what are the functions of the skeletal systems? We will learn regarding the now I'm coming to the bone joints. So first thing we should know what is the meaning of bone joints. What is the type of bone joints? Bone joints can be divided into three groups such as movable joints, immovable joints, partly movable joints. So what is a movable joint? Give example. What is an immovable joint? Give example. What is a partly movable joint? Give example. Then different types of movable joints. So movable joint is very much important here. We can further divide the movable joints into various groups, broadly into four groups such as the balls and the socket joints. We need to give example. Hinge joints example, pivot joint example, and the saddle joint example. Then the problem of the bone joints. So what are the problems, basic problems of the bone joints? In your book there are two types of problems regarding the bone joints, and there is the gout and the arthritis. So what is arthritis and what is gout? We will learn here. Another topic of this chapter is the muscles. So regarding the muscles, we should know these following associated terms such as locomotion and movement. What is locomotion and what is movement? Contraction and the relaxation of the muscle. Then muscle cells or the muscle fibers. Maintenance of body posture. So how can we maintain our body posture? Using the muscles. Likewise, maintenance of the vital functions of the different organs of human body, such as breathing, such as the heart pumping action or food intake, etc. We need to understand thoroughly. And the different types of muscles and their functioning. So there are three types of muscles we will learn along with their important functions, such as is number one, skeletal muscles. What are the skeletal muscles? Example, and what are the functions? Smooth muscles, example, their functions. Cardiac muscle, example, and their functions. Then the problems of the muscles. So in your book, just we will try to understand the muscular dystrophy. So what is the meaning of muscular dystrophy? How can we get a treatment for the muscular dystrophy, etc. The last topic of this chapter is the growth and the development of the human body. So just we need to know the term, what is the meaning of the growth, what is the meaning of the development, what is the term nutrition means, likewise what is malnutrition. Thereafter we will know abnormal growth and various diseases related to it in human body. So here, what is abnormal growth? And due to abnormal growth, there are different types of diseases that are related to human body, such as giantism and many more. In your book we will learn. And the concept of healthiness, the last subtopic of the growth and development in human body, is the concept of healthiness. So what is the term healthiness means? First we will know the BMI. So BMI is very important here in order to define a person healthy or not. So what is the meaning of BMI? Body mass index. Then, knowing the meaning of body mass index, we have to calculate the BMI. So how can we calculate the BMI? We will learn here, such as BMI means or equal to weight by height square. So how can we calculate? We will learn here under this topic. And the last thing is the problems of obesity. So what is the obesity and what are the associated problems? If we suffer from obesity, we will learn these things. So these are all things regarding this chapter. Please listen this video as well as you may watch further to understand properly the second term syllabus of your science subject. After uploading this video, I will provide the PDF of this second chapter of this second term syllabus of science and environment as well. Thank you, all of you.